Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Semoto podcast. Today with us, Robin from CEO of InfluxJuice. Welcome, Rob.
Hello, how are you
How
doing
are you?
today?
All good.
I'm well. I'm well, thank you. I'm very
Thanks a lot.
excited about this.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time. So, Rob, tell us more about who you are, what brought you to blockchain.
Sure. Well, I'm Rob Wynn. I am, as you said, the founder and CEO of InfluxJuice Marketing Agency. I've always had a fascination about Web3, about crypto. I got in early-ish, I would say 2018, and I've just enjoyed learning about it. And then I've been in marketing for over a decade now, and I thought there's a gap in the market because Web3 is new, it's fairly new, and there's companies and businesses coming on board all the time, being created, and they need the world to know what they're doing about their services. So I thought, yeah, let's help them and give them the opportunity to get the latest news published, get it out onto hundreds of websites. And yeah, that's really how I got into it.
Interesting. Thanks for that. So, I think you cover exactly what is the sweet spot for Influx. So tell us more about the company. You obviously are a marketing agency, but you have a different angle from traditional PR agency. What do you guys
Yeah, I mean, a
specialize
lot.
on?
Well, we specialize in creating lots of different types of content, various content, videos and articles and audios and slideshows, and just creating a world around your latest news. What's happening next in your business? So we want to tell your story to the world and do it on a regular basis because often people say, "Yeah, I want to I want the world to know, and let's do one push on it." Great, but then if you don't remind people, we forget things very easily, and the biggest companies in the world, you get reminded about them all the time, pretty much every day, so you don't forget them. So what we do is we create that content, we push it out, we get it out onto hundreds of websites, and we do that on a regular basis. That's
Got it.
really what
Let
we
me let me ask
specialize
you
in.
ask you something about this because this is a common mistake. Sometimes people wrongly interpret the definition of content creation because what you specialize on and what we are addressing today is company content, so the story that you want to project to the world. We're not talking about the day-to-day content that you create about general research or what's going on in the market. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You have to tell a story. We love stories. We want to know about the why was this business created? What often in Web3, it's creating something to help the world. So we want to tell the world how it will help them. People buy what helps them. That's the only reason people purchase things. They want to know, okay, this is a fantastic product, a fantastic service, and I want that to help me in this particular part of my life. So our job as marketers is to tell that story, let them know, let the world know what it is that you are creating and what you're helping people with. And I love that. I love that part of it. How can we tell it in a certain way that gets people sitting up and saying, "Oh yes, hang on, I need this. I need this in my life."
And we were saying, Rob, thanks for clarifying exactly what you specialize on, but what is a good story? So what people should consider before spending money and try to create that type of content?
What is a good story? Great question. Honestly, what is the company doing? What's the business? What's their service?
Yeah.
Because and how do they help people? That's again, as I was saying, how can you help people's lives? There's a story in that, and people can actually say what their product does and how it helps people. And perhaps a past customer, that's always a nice angle to take. This person had this problem. We showed them how we can help them. And now the problem is solved and they're able to, yeah, be in a better place because this problem is solved.
Understood.
Depends
Understood.
what
No,
it depends
that's
what you
quite
do.
powerful.
Again, you sorry.
No, no, no. Please finish. Please finish.
No, I was saying, well, you might know yourself from all of your clients. There might be a story in there that you've heard um, that you might be able to give a good example yourself.
No, absolutely, and this is exactly what I was thinking because I think that what you do here is quite unique because there is confusion in the market in between what is social media content, PR, and you're really sitting in the middle. You create a sweet spot for you guys because we are
Yeah.
not talking about a major announcement that falls into the PR side of my company just raised 1 million, I want everyone to know, or we launch our token, I want the world to know. Here we are talking about building up a story that we communicate to the world, right?
Mm,
So the
yeah.
story is our value, what we are doing, how we are helping people. I think you touched on the most important element.
Exactly.
So you said something before that I wanted to go back to. Um, the importance of communicating the story and the importance of making it an ongoing process. So,
Of course. Well,
what is
in
your
terms of
advice on
marketing,
that?
yeah, it has to be
How
because,
often
as you
it has
say,
to be done?
yeah, you what you were saying is if there's a big announcement, it's kind of the macro, but you need to focus on the micro, as you were saying, the personal stories. And of course, you're running your business, you're helping hopefully many people, and there are many stories. And because as a marketer, you need to be showing the world on a regular basis. You might have a macro and it's just a one thing that happens once a year, and of course, we'll cover that. But you need to go into the micro and how is that huge advancement in your business? How is that helping the regular person? And that's the smaller stories that we want to focus on. And again, as you said, get it out there, publish it onto hundreds of sites, onto social media as well. So we cover all of the areas because you need to get eyeballs on your news.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So let's maybe use a practical example. Let's say Semoto is your client. We want to communicate our message, and our message is we're building this ecosystem of experts like Rob that can help you guiding startups. So we truly believe we have a strong message to pass. So on first of all, what is the frequency that we should reiterate our message to not making it repetitive as well, because that can be an issue. And then the second part is, and then what? Where do we push it? Considering that our community is all Web3, do you generally advise to stick with Telegram and Twitter, or good old LinkedIn is still available?
Well, we publish onto over 80 Web3 sites. So these are making sure that your content is seen by your ideal client. And that's one of the ways that we differentiate ourselves from other marketing companies. On top of that, of course, we also publish onto main news websites as well. And we just want to get that huge exposure and get the world to know about your new business. And you're right, you don't want to be repeating yourself. Because of course, some people might miss it one time, and there should always be the end stories of what your business, the service is. So you have to always go back to that. But on every single marketing campaign, it has to be specific to one part of what you're giving. Ideally, like I said, how can you help the regular person? How can your service take, something that's people haven't seen before? That's the whole point of it. It has to be something unique. So we focus on that particular part of it, how it helps the individual person, and in terms of how regular you want it, the more regular the better. You could be doing it every day, but of course you have to be able to afford, must be able to have that budget to be able to afford to do it every day. But yeah, the more the merrier with marketing, I would say. You know, you look at the biggest companies in the world, you know, you see them all the time. It's every single day. You see the billboards, you see the TV adverts, it's everywhere.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree on that. Now, out of curiosity, what is the format that is most effective and people respond better? Because I assume video is king, but what's your view on this one?
Yeah, I mean, video is king. Let's face it, video is king, but it depends who your market is, because if obviously Gen Z or Gen Z, we would say in Britain, they are very much video. So if you're trying to target a younger demographic, I would certainly recommend doing more videos. We obviously do videos, but we do audios as well. We do articles and blog posts and slideshows. We kind of cover all bases. And we would say that if your market is an older audience, they certainly prefer text. They certainly prefer to read than videos. But even nowadays, yeah, as you said, you know, videos are king. You want to be, making sure you're getting your news on YouTube, on Vimeo, on places where people are watching videos. It's huge, and we love to do that. We love to create that as well. It's fun.
And generally, what format do you suggest this company to use? Is it more of an interview to the founders of the company, or is more of an engaging video showing the capability of the product? What's your advice for the audience? What do you think resonates better?
Yeah. Always what resonates with people is how can you improve their life. It's as simple as that. All these bells and whistles in marketing, they don't mean anything. You need to be able to show people how is your service, your product, whatever it is you're pushing, how is it going to improve their life? Because if it's not going to improve their life, they're not interested. But of course, it also depends what it is. You can't improve everybody's life, you know, especially in Web3. Loads of people just still have no idea about what it is. So again, it's educating them. You're educating them about Web3, about your service, and what's the difference. Sometimes you need to be able to explain what's the difference between Web3. I've tried to explain it to my friends as well, the benefit of Bitcoin and digital currencies. You know, I learned it years ago, and it just makes complete sense to me. So as a marketer, you need to be able to explain that. And it needs to be simple as well. Don't overcomplicate things. You need to make it as simple as possible for the person viewing to understand. That's what we always try and do.
Thanks for that. That's a great advice. I have one more question about the type of format. Do you think, particularly in Web3, when there is a bit of disconnection between the client and the companies, the product that makes a difference? I mean, we've seen plenty of large institutions that are run by DAOs or fully decentralized, where realistically you don't know who's behind a company, and sometimes you don't care. So when we transfer this into the marketing angle, do you think that what is the best and, in your opinion, most successful way to communicate a company message? Do people respond well when is the CEO, the founder, putting his face behind the video, or these days short animated videos or things like that are a better way to engage the new generation?
In my opinion, people are the best. Animation is all well and good, but it's all about trust. You need to know who you're buying from. So it could be the CEO. It doesn't have to be. It just needs to be a friendly face, and you need to see, because we always tell you these behind the scenes videos are great, because if it's all shiny and glossy, that's not the reality of any business. It's hard work, and people are working in certain areas. They might be in an office. It's good to be able to see that. So get the cameras in there. It's about being personal as well. And ultimately, when you're selling, you need to, like I say, trust the person. And it's nice to be able to get to know them. Whenever I'm on Instagram, I always like to see people being themselves, certainly not being salesy. We hate that. We want to be able to see people, okay, this is my business. This is how I can help you. If you have any questions, that's always great as well. That's really about what I would always say to all businesses. Be personal. Speak to your ideal clients one-on-one, ideally. That's really what I would always.
I think you gave the audience a ton of good advice already. So if we want to try to sum it up, I mean, for a new startup entering this world and they want to communicate the message, try to break it down in in 3 or 4 advices how they should communicate their message. What are your main advices?
Well, first of all, you must know exactly what it is you are offering. So get it written down, and then you have to think about, how can I get that out there? What are my options? Because of course now there's so many different ways to market yourself. So you can go to a marketing agency, and obviously that's their job. They can help you with that. But also there might be 10 things that you offer. Try to pin it down to what's the main service, product that you offer people. Focus on that. And then other elements of the marketing can come from that. And then think about, how would you like to have that presented to the world? I mean, obviously we do lots of different ones, but depending on which agency you're using, you need to ask them, well, actually video would be good because our marketing is for the Gen Z generation, so they will focus on that. It's really key to know exactly what you want to say, and then obviously if you can do it by yourself, fantastic. Sure. If not, you can speak to somebody else who can help you with it.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for that. In terms of you have an extremely wide coverage on website where you can post. Where, if you can say it, where do you think that there is more traction and where it's easier to also get visibility for a startup?
Do you mean in terms of what websites that we would?
Yeah, between the one that you cover, I mean, where do you see more traction coming from?
Well, the biggest sites, ideally. I mean, YouTube. Because obviously we publish onto YouTube, so that's huge. It's owned by Google. They control the world, so YouTube is massive. But you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got X, you've got Google Podcasts and Podbeam. If you're Web3 focused, you've got CoinMarketCap as well, Binance Square. These are huge sites, and they're getting thousands and thousands of people that are seeing it. So again, I would say, what is your market? Who are you trying to aim at? If you're Web3, certainly those sites are the ones to get onto. But you've got Telegram as well. That's huge, and Medium. There's so many, and obviously 300.
Obviously, for our audience, the Web3 angle is the most important one. Final question on this, and then I would like to switch to the other things that InfluxJuice does, because you are a really 360 type of agency. You cover quite a lot of interesting aspects. But before going to that, what we received as a question for this podcast from the audience is, can you give us more clarity about the pricing model? Because a lot of the time, concern from clients when it goes to, can I afford to engage with a PR agency, even if you're not exactly a PR agency, but how am I going to pay? So every time that I want to be featured in a coin market cap, in other website, am I going to have to pay on top of that? Or when I pay the agency, there is a one fee and they publish me across multiple sites. How does it work?
Yeah, well, there's one fee per marketing campaign. So ours starts at $14.99. That's dollars, 1499, and that gets it published onto over 300 websites. And that's one campaign, and that again is huge exposure, overnight exposure. Traffic will be coming to your website, but again, we also do say, you want to be doing it more than once, because it's just like like lighting a candle, and it's sparking, but it runs out. So yeah, it depends. But as you said, we're going to speak about some of other things that we offer at InfluxJuice, and they are a little bit cheaper, and it's different. So it's not published onto lots of sites, but it's more about getting Google on your side and just improving your business's reputation.
So yeah, obviously that's a really good model, because it's clear for the startups as well, for the different project. They know exactly how much it's going to cost them, and they know what they are going to get in terms of exposure. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so let's switch to the other things that Rob and InfluxJuice can cover, because what I really like is that you're not abandoning the Web2 world. That needs to be addressed via Google, via ranking, etc., etc. And a lot of other marketing agencies, they only focus on the Web3 angle, and in my opinion, can be a mistake, because we're leaving a lot of stuff, valuable stuff, on the table. So tell us, what other services can you guys cover?
So we manage businesses' reputation, and a lot of businesses don't realize, a lot of them are old-fashioned. Many of them don't really use online for their business, which is crazy. And it's a downward slide if you don't use a website, if you're not online, and don't get reviews, because reviews are huge. It used to be word of mouth. That still exists, of course, but word of mouth in the 21st century is online. It's Google, because when we want something now, we used to call our friend, like, I want to get a hairdresser. Who's your hairdresser? No, we go online and we search for the things that we want. And then, of course, let's say you go onto Google Maps. When I want something, I go into Google Maps because I want a local service. And then you'll say I'm looking for a hairdresser. I'll get a list of hairdressers. And next to it, you will see a star rating. And a lot of companies, a lot of businesses either don't have any reviews, or they have one or two, or they've got 2 stars. You're not going to go to those. You're going to go to the businesses that have lots of reviews, lots of high reviews, because you know that they're a trusted brand and people are using them. So part of what we do is we go to businesses and say, how is your online reputation? Do you have reviews? How many stars do you have? And often they don't. They haven't even thought about it. And on top of that, if they are doing it, because sometimes I see businesses that they have reviews, but they don't reply. And again, Google is the same as any of these social media networks. It's about engagement. So you need to be showing Google, Instagram, Facebook, Meta, that you are using their service, and then their algorithms are going to help you. They're going to push you. So if you're replying to reviews, okay, Google knows, great, this person actually cares about their customer. They're actually getting a conversation going, rather than a business that gets a review and then just ignores it. And Google won't push you out there. You want Google on your side. It's really as simple as that. So we make sure we help people with that. There's also text back from missed calls. Because again, so many businesses lose a lot of business because they can't get to the phone. And if you're looking for a certain service and you call them and they don't answer, they're going to go on to your competitor. So what we also have is a system, a software where if you miss a call, automatically they get a text back straight away and saying, sorry, we missed your call, how can we help you? And that in itself will bring so much more business in. So those are two things that we're focusing on now as well. And we want to help people as well without charging anything, really. We want to give people, just done a video that's just going live today, in fact, which is an action plan on how to build your reputation and better your reputation. And obviously we can do that, or you can do it yourself. And I actually explain how to do it for people. On top of that,
Powerful.
we actually.
And I think you cover a lot of interesting stuff because, as mentioned, even if we are in Web3, we cannot forget the basic element in order to get exposure. Google is still such a powerhouse that we cannot just pretend that we can ignore it, right? Something has to be done in order to rank properly, and it's not all about SEO. That we will cover in another episode, but here we're talking about giving the client what they want, and what they want, as you said, is trustworthiness and clarity on who are they using, what other people said about their business. That it resonates extremely well to what we are building as Semoto, because any provider like yourself is vetted by us, but also can collect his own review. So if I want to use Rob, if I want to engage Influx, I'm going to check what are the reviews that these people have collected so far. What are other people in Web3 specifically saying about Rob and his company? So I completely agree with you. That is extremely important. Now, combining this part of your business and the previous part about the content creation, can you give us the top 2 or 3, whatever you prefer, mistakes that you have seen people doing in the space?
Mistakes. Well, first of all, as I said before, you have to build a relationship with your clients. They're not just data. They're not just, money. They're a person. They have a business. You need to know that business inside out. So that's a huge mistake. Don't just see them as just a figure. They are a human. They have a business. They're trying to help people. You need to learn everything that they do, because that gives you a much better place to be able to market that. That's certainly a mistake that I've seen some people do. Other mistake, I'm not sure about any others really to think of. It's all about being, friendly and having that one-on-one with your clients. Yeah.
Understood. I think you told us a lot even before. I mean, obviously frequency is important. People cannot expect that publishing one and expect the world. You need to be constantly out there. But I personally think that the best advice that you gave in this podcast is explain how are you helping me. Tell me what can you do for me, and that is that's the most important part. Rob, I think something went wrong because you are not being recorded at present. Um, so I don't know why, but your system is not recording. Uh, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but for the audience, we'll try to fix it. Let's stop right here. I think Rob gave us a ton of good advices, but you can find Rob and InfluxJuice on Semoto. Under the podcast, you're going to find the link to Rob profile. Please get in touch. They've been helping a lot of companies in Web3 under multiple angles. Again, sorry we had to finish a little bit in a rush, but Rob, thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.